You want to know why Joe Rogan and every fitness guru in the world is so obsessed with kettlebell swings? Because it's a blowtorch for calories, but that's not the only reason. There are 5 major benefits kettlebell swings have on the human body. Studies were done, and the findings were almost ridiculous. A 20-minute kettlebell session shedded an average of 20.2 calories per minute. That's the same calorie shredding intensity as running a 6-minute mile without the aching joints. However, there's a catch, and it's a big one. Most people do it completely wrong. But before we get into that critical mistake, let's take a look at the laundry list of ways kettlebell swings will rebuild your body. First, let's talk about that engine you're building, the posterior chain. In our chair-bound world, most men suffer from what I like to call dormant butt syndrome. Their glutes, the most powerful muscle in the body, have been put to sleep by endless sitting. The kettlebell swing is the world's most effective alarm clock for those sleeping giants. The explosive hip extension forces your glutes and hamstrings to fire on all cylinders. EMG studies have shown that kettlebell swings trigger massive activation in the gluteus maximus and biceps femoris muscle. This isn't just about building a better-looking backside, it's about unlocking your body's primal power source. This is the raw strength that allows you to deadlift heavy weights, jump higher, run faster, and to lift a heavy cooler out of the trunk without your lower back clocking out early. You are fundamentally rewiring your body to generate power from its intended source. This brings us to one of the biggest paradoxes in fitness: the kettlebell swing and your lower back. Many people are terrified of this movement because they think it will hurt their back. But when done correctly, it does the exact opposite. It transforms your lower back from a fragile liability into a resilient asset. A study by leading spine biomechanist Dr. Stuart McGill found that kettlebell swings create a unique loading pattern that can actually enhance back health and function. The explosive movement and the aggressive core bracing teach your body how to stabilize the lumbar spine under load. Another study in Denmark found that kettlebell training significantly reduced the intensity of neck, shoulder, and lower back pain in workers with musculoskeletal issues. By building a fortress of muscle around your spine and grooving the perfect hip hinge pattern, you're not just getting stronger, you're bulletproofing your back against the strains of daily life. And speaking of bulletproofing your body, that's a topic I'm incredibly passionate about. If you want to move and feel like you're 10 years younger, I've put everything you need to know into a complete blueprint to undo years of aches and pains that your body has built up. If you apply this simple, step-by-step guide that you can do from your living room, you'll walk away with a body that's designed for longevity. You can grab it using the link in the description below. But for now, let's get back to turning you into a fat-burning machine. With the kettlebell swing, you get all the heart-protective benefits without the mind-numbing boredom and joint pounding of a treadmill. A study in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared a 12-minute kettlebell swing protocol to a treadmill session. The results showed that the swings elicited a heart rate response that averaged 85% of max heart rate, putting it squarely in the hard exercise zone, recommended for improving cardiovascular fitness. It's a high-intensity interval workout disguised as a strength movement. You're essentially tricking your body into a world-class cardio session, the kind that has real-world carryover. It's the ability to carry all the bags in one trip without getting winded. It's being able to play tag with your kids and be the one who tires them out for a change. But the funniest part of all this is that the grizzled old-timers who invented this movement couldn't have cared less about VO2 max or heart rate zones. They were just strong guys trying to weigh grain at a market. The kettlebell, or gurya as it's known in its homeland, wasn't invented in a fancy gym. It started its life in 18th century Russia as a simple counterweight used by farmers to measure grain at the market. These farmers, to pass the time and show off their strength, started throwing them around. From these humble, practical origins came one of the most potent fitness tools ever created. Now, this next benefit is one that will have a huge impact on your life. Kettlebell swings are incredible for enhancing grip and core strength. Your grip strength is a well-known indicator of your overall health and vitality because the kettlebell is actively trying to rip itself out of your hands with every rep. Your forearms, hands, and fingers are under constant dynamic tension. This builds a functional, crushing grip that static dumbbell curls could never hope to replicate. You'll notice it when you shake someone's hand, when you carry a heavy suitcase, or when you open a stubborn pickle jar on the first try. Simultaneously, your core is waging an all-out war to keep you from being pulled in half. At the top of the swing, as the bell decelerates, your abs, obliques, and lower back must co-contract with incredible force to create a rigid plank and prevent your spine from hyperextending. It's a plank in motion, and it's far more effective at building functional core stiffness than hundreds of crunches, because it teaches your midsection to do its most important job, protecting your spine by resisting unwanted movement. While it's not a shoulder exercise in the traditional sense, the swing is a phenomenal tool for building stable, resilient shoulders. At the top of the swing, as the bell floats, your rotator cuff and the muscles of your shoulder girdle have to work overtime to control and stabilize the weight. This isn't about building big deltoids, it's about strengthening the deep, stabilizing muscles that protect the shoulder joint from injury. You are actively packing the shoulder into its socket with every rep, promoting long-term shoulder health. Now that you know what the cheat code does, let's talk about how to execute it. So pay attention as I show you the perfect kettlebell swing, mistakes to avoid, and how to easily make it a non-negotiable part of your routine. Remember the critical mistake I mentioned earlier? Well, here it is. The kettlebell swing is not a squat. Read that again. It is not a squat. If you watch someone in a commercial gym, you'll often see them doing a squat swing. Their knees bend deeply, their torso stays upright, and they use their arms and shoulders to awkwardly front raise the kettlebell. This is not only ineffective, but it's also dangerous, putting all the strain on the wrong places. The swing is a hinge. It's an explosive hip-driven movement. The power doesn't come from your arms, it comes from the most powerful muscle group in your body, your posterior chain, your glutes and hamstrings. Here's how to nail it. Think about closing a car door with your hands full of groceries. You wouldn't squat down, you'd push your behind straight back to tap the door shut. That's a hip hinge. We'll just be doing it a lot more explosively. Start with the kettlebell in front of you. Hinge at your hips, keeping your back perfectly flat, chest out, shoulders pulled back, and grab the bell with both hands. Now hike it back between your legs like a football center snapping the ball. This is crucial, since it loads the hamstrings and glutes like a catapult. From that loaded position, you explode. Drive your hips forward with everything you've got. Squeeze your glutes like they're trying to crack a walnut. This explosive hip thrust is what sends the kettlebell flying forward. Treat your arms like ropes and hooks on the end. Their only job is to guide the bell and hang on. The bell should float up to chest height on its own. At the top of the swing, your body should form a perfectly straight, rigid plank. Abs tight, glutes tight, quads tight. There should be a moment of weightlessness. Then, you let gravity do its work. As the bell falls, you play a game of chicken with your hips, waiting until the last possible second before your forearms reconnect with your upper thighs to hinge back aggressively and absorb the force, immediately ready to explode into the next rep. It's a rhythm of savage violence followed by disciplined relaxation. Getting this one movement pattern right is the secret. It's the non-negotiable rule that turns the swing from something that could be dangerous for your back into what might just be the single most powerful tool for bulletproofing it. It's a huge paradox, I know. When done right, this can become your secret weapon against lower back pain. So how do you pull this all together? For a beginner, a great starting point is a 30 to 35 pound kettlebell. Remember, form is king. Starting too heavy is the fastest way to mess up the form and get hurt. Don't let your ego choose the weight. Instead of just doing endless reps, try integrating swings into protocols like an EMOM, every minute on the minute. Set a timer for 10 minutes. At the start of each minute, do 10 to 15 swings, then rest for the remainder of the minute. It's a simple, brutally effective way to manage volume and intensity. By the way, if you want more practical fitness tips and strategies sent directly to you for free every week, you can join my newsletter using the link in the description.